A gender reveal party is fun and over the top, so we need the perfect cake to match. Exactly like this drip cake with colored layers of vanilla cake to celebrate the big news in the sweetest way. Today I'm showing you how to decorate your cake with the drip technique and also topping it off with Macaron and Lollipop decorations. This gender reveal cake is very simple yet looks impressive, so be sure to keep on watching! Okay guys, before we start decorating, I prepared my 7-inch vanilla cake layers and dyed them blue for the big reveal. The recipe will be in the description box below, as well as the frosting. I'm using Italian meringue buttercream and you will absolutely love it. It's less sweet than traditional American buttercream and leaves a satin-like finish on the cake, making it even easier to frost. Also here, I made my own pink and blue macarons to put on top. Of course you could purchase them pre-made, but I love making my own. So if you'd like to learn the technique and see tips and tricks, feel free to watch my macarons video for any experience level. Now let's get to frosting our cake. You are going to take an offset spatula and place a small amount of frosting down onto your cake board and press the first layer over that. Once you have it centered, spread a generous dollop of the frosting evenly across the cake, and a little bit should be peeking out of the edges. Right before doing this, you want your cake layers to be frozen. It really helps keep the crumbs under control during the entire frosting process. To complete assembling the cake, repeat this method by stacking all 4 layers, then begin adding frosting to the sides for the crumb coat. A crumb coat is a base layer of frosting to seal in all the crumbs, and it's pretty thin, so I achieved that by pushing some smaller amounts around instead of a huge glob. You don't have to stress about it being perfect, just as long as you get the entire cake covered, and we're going to smooth it out anyway. In order to smooth out the layer we just put down, use a large offset spatula or bench scraper to make a sweep as you turn your turntable and wipe off that excess. To finish up the crumb coat, I spread a small amount on top and broaden the edges to clean up any overhang. I leave this part for last to get the edges nice and sharp. The crumb coat is all set. I'm popping the cake in the fridge for 15 minutes to firm up the frosting, and you can go ahead and apply the final layer. You can either use a pastry bag like me or an offset spatula, but I find the pastry bag is a great guide for putting frosting exactly where I want it to go. So first I pipe some rings around the top and about halfway down the side of the cake. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It works best for me to press the frosting into the cake and work it all around. Next, I piped more rings to fill in the bottom and meshed it together with what I have on there already. It's going to look like a lot of frosting, but that is your safety net just in case you remove a lot of it when you smooth it out. At this point, I'm inspecting the cake for any areas that I see air pockets and patching over it with more frosting, then giving it a final smooth using a light pressure. A lot of times it is helpful to heat the spatula or dip it into some hot water, but I do not recommend doing that step with the Italian meringue buttercream, so we're going to skip that for today. For the final touches, I'm bringing in the sides like we did before, and the frosting process is all done, which means we can make the white chocolate ganache for these super cool drips. All you are going to need is white chocolate chips and heavy cream. I'm putting 1 cup each of the white chocolate chips and 1/3 cup each of heavy cream into 2 separate bowls for each color and giving them a quick stir before we zap them in the microwave for 30-second intervals. This usually takes 2 times for the mixture to be completely melted. When it has reached a smooth consistency, we are able to mix in our gel food coloring, and what I'm doing here is completely optional, but I like to add a liquid whitener in before tinting with the gel coloring. That's because it helps the overall color to be more opaque, but it's all based upon your preference. As for the actual color, a little bit goes a long way, so I apply a small amount on a toothpick and add more as needed until I reach my desired shade. I'm aiming for a pastel color to go along with the gender reveal theme. Keep in mind your cake should be completely chilled, and here I'm showing you how to create the pink and blue pattern. I'm dividing the top into 8 equal sections like a pizza pie by marking with my knife. It looks complicated to switch the colors, but it's really not. The key is to put the chocolate ganache into a squeeze bottle, that way you have the most control. I practiced some drips for the drip consistency on the side of a plate first. If you feel it's not dripping much and it's too thick, throw the squeeze bottle in the microwave for 5 seconds and make sure to remove the metal tip if your squeeze bottle has one. All there is to it is to position your squeeze bottle at the edge of the cake and release the pressure after a few seconds, then move straight over to the next. When I complete doing all the drips for that section, I outline and fill in the pie slice to finish it off. As you can see, I alternated the lengths of the drips. You can do that by holding the squeeze for a little bit longer for a long drip and a quick squeeze for a shorter drip. Once you try this technique for yourself, it's so fun and makes any cake over the top. Before we dress up the cake even more, it's best to chill it for 30 minutes to let the chocolate ganache set, and it's time to insert the gender reveal sign and cute lollipops in pink and blue. Don't forget the macarons. Not only are they pretty, but absolutely delicious in combination with the white chocolate ganache and Italian meringue buttercream to complement the classic vanilla cake. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you learned something new. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. It's Christina here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.